In this video, we will look at a lot of the calculations we did by hand in our previous lecture series about mean, median, etc. But we'll be doing all of that in Excel. So let's go ahead and take our data set, delete all the stuff I was doing in the previous videos, and go back to how it looked when you freshly download and load it. Let's start with the mean. So when we calculated the mean age of our students, we got 22. We found the mean to be 19.5. So in Excel, to do mathematical calculations, the kind of the most important thing is you want to start off with equals, and equals if you're within a cell is what Excel interprets as, okay, we're going to do a mathematical calculation. So let's say you wanted to do, well, what's 3 times 7? We know that's 21, but basically in Excel, if you type in equal 3 times 7, it will do the math for you. And what I wanted to note here is if you just type in 3 times 7, Excel, you can type whatever you want. It's always qualitative. It's always categorical until you put that equal sign. Once you put the equal sign, then it becomes a calculation. And essentially that's how you tell Excel to do math. So like you can have it do simple calculations. Like let's say we wanted to do mean, we could say, well, equals. Also, if you want to use a different cell, like let's say I wanted to use that 19 that I typed in, you could type in 19, but another feature of Excel is you can actually select a particular entity, like which is referenced by the column and rows in B2. And then you can say, I could then add that to B3 and then do plus B4 plus B5 and so on. I could actually add up all of those numbers in the way that we did with the mean. And then if you add up all of those and divide by 10, sure, you can find the mean that way. But Excel has a built-in feature to do means for a selected data set. And they call it average. And, you know, another thing about Excel is if you hover over formulas, it will actually tell you kind of how they work. And this is something I advise you practice with. But also you need, with a mathematical function in Excel, you need to have a parentheses at the end, which kind of indicates, well, what am I taking the average of? So equal average, this is going to tell, what we're telling Excel is find the average of something. And then I need to click and drag. If I click and drag all of those numbers, it will take the average of all of them. And if I close off the parenthesis, that will tell it this is what I want to average from start to finish. And basically there we have it. We can find the mean by using the equal average command in Excel. So in a very similar fashion, you can do things like finding the median, finding the standard deviation. This can make your life a lot easier so that you don't have to do it all by hand. So for median, I believe that is the command equal median. Yep, notice how there is just a median command. Same sort of thing. Equal median, parenthesis, select all of my numbers, close it off, and there we go, 19.5. So this is a really nice way to check your work if you're doing it by hand. If you're not really sure, you know, the great thing about math, in my opinion, is there is an answer, there's a correct answer, and this is a nice way to check yourself. And if you're not coming up with the right thing, we can try to figure out why. Come to me and say, okay, I'm not getting the same answer that I got here, or my friend got a different answer than me. Why? We can try to figure out what is going wrong. And I'm always happy to help with that. So for quartiles, let's say we wanted to find the first and the third quartile of the age. I believe Excel has it's more of a generalized quartile feature. But if we look at quartile.exe, it says that it returns the quartile of a data set based on the percentile values from 0 to 1 exclusive. So I believe if I just type in quartile.exe, I can find the first quartile of this by selecting the data and using 0.25. Actually, you know what? No, never mind. It says that if I want to find the first quartile, I just do comma 1. And this is another thing about Excel functions. A lot of times you have an input, but you have a secondary command, which is separated by commas. And this is a common notation that's used in what we call multivariable functions in math. Basically, it's something that has more than one different input, but you're always going to start by using your data set, and then it's sort of like a modifier. You do comma 1 to indicate that I want to calculate the first quartile of this data. And let's check what we got. 19, which is consistent with our first quartile from our age from before. Now we can check the third quartile in the same sort of way. Remember, we don't need to bother with the second quartile because that's going to be the median. So equal quartile.exe. If you ever don't know of a function in Excel, a lot of times you can just Google, how do I do this in Excel? Find out how to do it really quite easily. So in this video, I'm just trying to show you the basics. And I'm just trying to check our work and kind of run you through where to get started. So again, I want to select all my data. Here I want to do comma 3 for the third quartile. And I can see that I get 23.5. So here is something where I'm getting a slightly different answer than what I got before, which was just 23. So this is something where I'd want to look into this a little bit further. Make sure that I've selected all the data points and so forth. But it appears as though I'm getting a different answer from before. So we'll check on this and come back.